I do want to dive into last night, to bring it up to speed a little bit. After the Grizzlies lost to the Pistons, Ja confirmed he, quote, lost his joy. We're going to take a listen.
You and the coaching staff able to talk about what happened Friday and move on?
Y'all asked that question to them, huh?
What about for you?
Y'all asked that question, so y'all know the answer to that.
Do you feel like everything's been resolved?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
Well, yeah, but
There
we
you
didn't
go.
hear it from you.
Obviously, they can't go and tell y'all something I ain't say.
You feel like you got the same joy right now? Do we use the same thing?
No.
Why not?
What can be done to get it back?
We'll see.
Do you think you have a good relationship with the franchise
Yeah.
in general?
Yeah. They told y'all that, right?
I didn't say anything about that.
If I had a good relationship, I wouldn't talk to him at all. So, and we had our combos over these.
Do you have any regrets about the way you played on Friday night in the second half?
You said what?
Do you have any regrets about the way you played in the game? I'm not talking about the
That's your
post-game
home
stuff.
run question? Sound like a bait question.
All right, Channing, you actually mentioned it first. You said a lot of things with Ja, Steve Ballmer. So let's start with you.
Man, I just feel like these things happen, and not all the time, but when they do happen, there needs to be a sense of like where his position is, where the coaching position is, and then what's best for the Grizzlies, right? I mean, each individual player is brought in to make the Grizzlies a great team. And I think one thing we can't take away is like Ja Morant plays with his heart on his sleeve. The way he plays is how he is as a person, right? Good or bad, right? And we're just saying, just as the player, what we saw was the player was disengaged, and that is causing dissension for this new coach, who is coaching in a style that, and because I started to watch the clips of the coach and what he's trying to do and his substitution patterns and how he's trying to play, and he's bringing over a lot of other new schemes. So Ja saying, hey, I've had success individually doing things this way, and this coach is calling me out individually. They both are trying to fight for that locker room in a way. Like, I think I can win this way, I think I can win this way, but what's best for the Grizzlies? So do I agree with this, right? Would I want one of my players to talk like that or say stuff like that? No, but this is an emotional game and everyone just wants to win. But at the same time, I also feel like we aren't at the point of no return yet. And so hopefully they can figure it out. They obviously last night, I think, got down 21 to a good Detroit team, started to fight back. But like if Ja continually communicates with the coach and the ownership, I think they could work it out. But at the same time, something needed to change. Something needed to change within the Grizzlies for them to actually be relevant again or a top four team like they was at 3-4 years ago. So you can't just say, hey, Ja, we're going to play and be mid because you play good this way. It's like, what's best for the Grizzlies?
They did lose to the Pistons last night by 8 after being down 21, as you mentioned, and Ja did have 18, 10, and 6.
He is averaging 20 points, 7 rebounds, or 7 assists, 3 rebounds. Let's look at his percentages, right? So Ja is shooting, for the season, he's shooting 13% from 3 and 39% from the field.
I'm not going to lie. I could kick a fucking ball in the basket 13% of the time. You give me 100 tries, I could kick that bitch in there 13 times. Think about that. Think about that. 100 shots.
If you gave me 100,
I could kick a ball in 13 times.
This is what I said. If you gave me 100 half-court shots, I think I could make 10.
Oh, more than that, Richard. More than that, Richard.
No. So this is what I'm saying. Obviously, Ja's performance isn't at the level that Ja is accustomed to, and neither is his team. And we know when a player's not performing at the level, right? It's a few games, 7 games into the season. It's not crazy. But that's when you get a level of, okay, he's frustrated because he's not performing at the level that he personally would want. Like, forget the coaches, fans, organization. He has a standard. And then when the team isn't performing, and then the coach calls out the player that's already pissed off, it's like you and the guacamole. He's like, I don't need anybody to tell me twice. I don't need anybody to tell me 3 times, right? And that's the energy with Ja. But I still go back to, they fired his coach, Ja's coach. Maybe Ja was on board, I don't know. But they fired his coach right before the postseason. the coach at Ja had all the success. They wanted to play a new way, and then they fast forward that like they trade Bane this summer. So all of a sudden, there's a lot of flux there in the organization, and Ja's off to a slow start statistically, and their team is off to a slow start. Do I think it's past the point of no return? No, but there's not a great energy there at all. Not like when I say this, it's like we could all just skip to the next part, but then it's got to take humility. It's got to take like a very humbling type energy for everyone to come to the middle. And not a lot of times is that in our professional sports.
Can I ask
psyche.
one question?
No.
If you have a player who's special, right? And that player has I don't want to say he hasn't regressed, but Ja Morant hasn't taken that next step.
He hasn't progressed.
He hasn't progressed. As an organization, how many years do I have to keep doing the same thing before I change it up? Like, how many years, Perk, are you going to be the Memphis Grizzlies and go, we haven't been a contender in how many years? Ever, really? Maybe 1 year they were close. But, like, when's the last time they got to the Western Conference Finals? Like, if you're Luka, you're like, whatever Luka does, that works. Oh, whatever Ant does, that works. Like Braun, whatever that does, whatever Shea does, that works. Jokic, that works. To me, what Ja does organizationally, what Memphis has been doing, has not worked. Versus, so you got it.
You were asking Perk a question.
Oh yeah, Perk. How long do you keep doing the same thing?
Well, look, a few things. One, has Ja gotten better over the last 2 years? No. Right? Like, the scouting report has been out. Like, we just highlighted he's shooting 13% from the three-point line. Your game has to take, like, you have to take it to the next level. So, driving to the paint, he doesn't have the same athleticism. I don't know if it's because of the injuries. Yes, he still could give you those moments. But I'm not going to blame what Memphis are right now, where they are right now, just all on Ja.
No, totally
Does he
not.
deserve a lot of the blame? Absolutely. But they just gave Jaren Jackson fucking $200+ million as well, right? This is a former Defensive Player of the Year, former All-Star as well. He hasn't been holding up his end of the bargain. Is this team currently constructed a title contender, or do we expect them to be in the thick of things? Absolutely fucking not. Okay? Absolutely not. Right? So we talked about, because RJ, I heard you last year, we was talking about the Chicago Bulls, right? About just being in the middle, right? Like being in the middle. This is what his team is at. Like they're torn between the two. LaToya Luckett type style. Torn between the two of whether they want to rebuild or which direction they're going in. Because you started breaking up the team when you lost the heart and soul of your team in Dylan Brooks. He gave them a certain type of edge. Okay, you made him the scapegoat when Braun them put them out of the playoffs a few years ago. Then you get rid of Desmond Bane. Okay, I get it. Because he was making a lot of money, and then you got to be aware of the second apron and all this shit that is going on. Now, this situation with Ja is no point of return. This relationship is over with. When you hear a player comment and say that he doesn't have the joy no more, this is a guy that used to be dancing on the floor. This is a guy that plays with emotion, probably one of the most emotional players in the NBA. That joy is not there, right? And is some of the blame on him? Absolutely. But again, Memphis suspending Ja was a warning shot. To say,
I thought it was.
Go
ahead, sorry.
You're not bigger than the program. You're not bigger than the organization. We actually stand behind our coach. And that was actually the right move because all the great organizations that support their coaches, their teams are having success, right? The organizations who are whispering behind their coaches' back and not having their coaches' back, their teams are trash. So again, I feel like this relationship has run its course. I do think it's time for Ja Morant and the Memphis Grizzlies to part ways. Oof. I do think it's only one option for Ja Morant, that one direction he needs to go. He needs that air exposure, Pat Riley, Miami Heat coach.
Oh.
Some may say.
Wait, you said Perk, it was a
the
warning
Miami-
shot?
Huh?
What is those? A
flare?
What? Flare gun?
Yeah.
That was a flare gun from a deserted island. He shot that.
Come
The
get
Memphis
me.
Grizzlies shot that flare gun on, and they're like, "Hey, the planes flying, boats." They were like, "Oh, there's somebody lost on that island over there." Right? That was a flare gun. So the rest of
was
the
one-
league,
it-
the rest of the league saw that. The rest of the league saw that.
Because guess what? It wasn't just from the front office and the coaching staff. When you suspend your franchise player for having the bad conduct against
detrimental to the team. I got you, Big Perk.
that shit is coming from the top. And when I say the top, that shit is coming from the top. And that was a warning shot. So again, I believe it's time.
The call is
hey,
coming
Alec,
from
what's up?
inside the house.
Hi, we're
How to
gonna
fix your attitude today.
we're gonna run around the league. To your point,
He laughed real too hard.
He laughed really
No, I
hard.
didn't. No, I
you
didn't.
laughed first, bro.
to your point, or the question that you made, it's been since 2012, 2013 since they made the Western Conference Finals.
2012.
2012, they were
Lord.
swept.
It wasn't even the same
versus the
team.
Spurs.